Welcome to Life Philosophy, where we uncover ideas and insights that can transform your life. Today, we're exploring Atomic Habits by James Clear, a powerful book that shows how small, consistent actions can lead to remarkable results. Whether you're aiming to build new habits, break old ones, or simply unlock your potential, this video is packed with practical wisdom to help you get started. Let's take the first step toward building the life you've always wanted. In-depth analysis of Chapter 1. The surprising power of atomic habits. Chapter 1 of Atomic Habits sets the stage for James Clear's framework on habit formation and self-improvement. Clear introduces foundational concepts about how small, incremental changes atomic habits can lead to extraordinary transformations over time. This chapter is crucial because it shifts the reader's perspective from seeking immediate results to understanding the compounding nature of consistent habits. Core themes and insights. 1. The concept of atomic habits. Clear uses the term atomic to emphasize habits that are small and seemingly insignificant in the moment, the building blocks of bigger changes, powerful because of their potential to compound over time. By describing habits as atomic, he highlights their dual nature, individually small but collectively transformative when accumulated consistently over time. 2. Compounding and the 1% rule. Clear introduces the idea that habits compound in a manner similar to compound interest in finance. This principle suggests small improvements add up. Improving by 1% daily may seem trivial but leads to being 37 times better after 1 year. Small setbacks also accumulate. Neglecting minor habits or allowing bad habits to persist compounds negatively over time. This framing resonates deeply because it emphasizes the importance of daily decisions in shaping the trajectory of our lives. 3. Focus on systems over goals. Clear challenges the traditional focus on goal setting by advocating for system-oriented thinking. Goals define the destination, but systems define the process. Winners and losers often share the same goals, e.g., everyone wants to win a gold medal, but it's the systems and habits they follow that lead to success. By shifting attention to systems, Clear lays a foundation for sustainable improvement, making success a byproduct of well-designed processes rather than sheer willpower or luck. 4. The plateau of latent potential. Clear introduces the plateau of latent potential to explain why many give up on habits. Progress doesn't appear linear. Early efforts often show little to no visible improvement, leading to frustration. This stagnation is described as the valley of disappointment, where people quit before their efforts yield visible results. Clear likens this process to heating an ice cube. It remains unchanged until a critical temperature is reached, at which point it suddenly melts. This analogy is a compelling way to help readers reframe their expectations about progress, reinforcing the importance of patience and persistence. 5. Habits as the compound interest of self-improvement. Clear introduces habits as the building blocks of identity and achievement. Good habits build positive momentum. They reinforce a cycle of self-improvement that becomes easier over time. Bad habits do the opposite. They erode progress and lead to a downward spiral. By viewing habits through the lens of compounding, Clear reframes them as investments in one's future, making even small actions feel significant. 6. The role of identity in habits. While not explicitly detailed in this chapter, Clear hints at how habits shape identity over time. He sets up the idea that consistent actions not only lead to results, but also redefine how we see ourselves. Real-world applications. Clear provides relatable examples to anchor these concepts. Athletes who achieve greatness focus on their training systems, not just their desire to win. Professionals who thrive in their fields build daily habits that consistently improve their craft. Entrepreneurs who succeed focus on small, consistent innovations rather than dramatic overnight successes. These examples demonstrate that small, consistent actions are often more impactful than grand, irregular efforts. Critiques and considerations. While Chapter 1 provides an inspiring and logical framework, it raises a few questions. The delayed gratification problem. Clear emphasizes patience but doesn't deeply explore strategies to stay motivated during the plateau of latent potential. Challenges in breaking bad habits. While the chapter outlines how habits compound positively, it doesn't yet delve into how to address habits with negative compounding effects. These gaps are likely addressed in later chapters, but they remain areas where the chapter might feel incomplete on its own. Key takeaways: small changes matter. Atomic habits are the foundation of long-term success. They may seem trivial in the moment, but compound into significant transformations over time. Systems over goals. Sustainable success comes from focusing on the processes that drive results, not just the results themselves. Progress isn't always visible. Patience and consistency are crucial to overcoming the plateau of latent potential. Every choice counts. Habits compound, whether positively or negatively, so every small decision contributes to a larger outcome. Philosophical underpinning. This chapter aligns with the philosophy that the journey is more important than the destination. By focusing on systems and daily habits, Clear advocates for a process-oriented approach to life, echoing timeless principles from Stoicism, Buddhism, and other traditions that emphasize incremental progress and mindfulness in daily actions. Chapter 1 of Atomic Habits is a powerful introduction to the idea that small, consistent habits can lead to remarkable changes. Clear's use of relatable analogies, such as the ice cube and the compounding effect, helps readers grasp why tiny actions matter. By reframing progress as a system-driven, long-term process, this chapter sets the stage for a practical and transformative journey into habit building. Chapter 2: How Your Habits Shape Your Identity, and Vice Versa. In Chapter 2 of Atomic Habits, James Clear delves into the relationship between habits and identity, emphasizing that lasting change occurs when we align our habits with our desired identity. He argues that the strongest way to achieve long-term behavior change is by focusing on who you wish to become, not just what you want to achieve. Core themes and insights. 1. The identity-based approach to habits. Clear contrasts 3 levels of behavior change. Outcomes. Focused on what you achieve, e.g., I want to lose weight. Processes. Focused on what you do, e.g., I will follow a diet and exercise plan. Identity. Focused on who you become, e.g., I am a healthy person. The most effective way to build lasting habits is by focusing on identity because identity drives behavior. When habits align with your sense of self, they become easier to maintain. Actions reinforce identity. Repeated actions strengthen the belief in who you are. 2. The two-way relationship between identity and habits. Clear explains how habits and identity influence each other. Habits shape identity. The more you act in a certain way, the more you reinforce the identity associated with that behavior, e.g., consistently writing makes you identify as a writer. Identity shapes habits. Your beliefs about who you are influence the actions you're willing to take, e.g., believing you're a non-smoker makes it easier to reject cigarettes. By recognizing this feedback loop, you can intentionally shape your habits to build a desired identity. 3. Identity versus goals. Clear highlights a fundamental problem with goal-oriented thinking. Goals focus on achieving something external, which is often temporary. Identity-based habits focus on becoming someone different, which leads to sustainable change. Example: instead of saying, I want to run a marathon, say, I am a runner. This shift transforms running into an intrinsic part of who you are, not just a task to complete. 4. The power of small wins. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. Small wins matter because they reinforce the identity you're trying to build. Over time, the accumulation of these votes strengthens your belief in your new identity. This approach also allows for imperfection. Missing one workout doesn't erase the identity of being someone who exercises regularly. Consistency matters more than perfection. Practical applications. Start with identity. Identify the type of person you want to become. Ask yourself, who is the type of person that could achieve what I want? Example: if you want to be healthier, think, what would a healthy person do? This shifts your focus from outcomes to actions aligned with your identity. Reinforce identity with habits. Perform small, consistent actions that align with your desired identity. Example: if you want to identify as a writer, write a single sentence daily. Each act reinforces the belief, I am a writer. Challenge negative identities. Identify existing beliefs that limit you, e.g., I'm not good at math. Replace them with empowering actions that challenge these beliefs, e.g., Practice simple math daily to build confidence. Real-life examples. Clear uses practical examples to illustrate the power of identity-based habits. A smoker who quits by saying, "I'm not a smoker," instead of, "I'm trying to quit," aligns their behavior with a non-smoker identity, making it easier to resist cigarettes. A person who identifies as a runner is more likely to prioritize daily runs because it aligns with their sense of self. Critiques and considerations. While the identity-based approach is compelling, some challenges may arise. Initial resistance. It can be hard to adopt an identity that doesn't yet feel true. Clear suggests starting with small actions to gradually shift your self-perception. Identity conflict. If you have competing identities, e.g., identifying as both a workaholic and a family-oriented person, it can create internal tension. This requires conscious prioritization and balance. Key takeaways: focus on identity, not outcomes. Long-term change occurs when habits align with the person you wish to become. Habits are votes for your identity. Every small action reinforces your sense of self. The more consistent your actions, the stronger your identity becomes. Identity transformation starts small. Begin with manageable habits that align with your desired identity, and let those habits compound over time. Philosophical underpinning. Clear's identity-based approach reflects ideas from psychology and philosophy. Self-perception theory. We infer who we are based on our actions. Existential philosophy. Our actions define our essence. By choosing intentional habits, we shape the meaning of our lives. Chapter 2 of Atomic Habits provides a powerful framework for understanding the relationship between habits and identity. By focusing on becoming the type of person you want to be, rather than achieving external goals, you create a sustainable foundation for long-term behavior change. This chapter empowers readers to think of habit formation as a process of identity transformation, making change both meaningful and lasting. Chapter 3. How to Build Better Habits in 4 Simple Steps. In Chapter 3 of Atomic Habits, James Clear outlines a simple, actionable framework for habit formation based on the idea that all habits follow the same pattern. This chapter introduces the 4 laws of behavior change, providing a roadmap to creating good habits and breaking bad ones. Core themes and insights. 1. The habit loop. Clear explains that all habits consist of a 4-step loop. Cue, a trigger that initiates the behavior. Craving, the motivational desire or urge to act. Response, the actual behavior or habit. Reward, the positive outcome that reinforces the habit. This sequence is the foundation of every habit, whether good or bad. Clear emphasizes that understanding this process is key to making changes. 2. The 4 laws of behavior change. Clear introduces the 4 laws of behavior change, a framework for building better habits. Make it obvious. Cue design your environment to make the desired habit visible and easy to notice. Make it attractive. Craving use temptation and anticipation to make the habit appealing. Make it easy. Response reduce friction to lower the barriers to action. Make it satisfying. Reward ensure the habit provides immediate gratification to reinforce it. For breaking bad habits, invert these laws. Make it invisible. Make it unattractive. Make it difficult. Make it unsatisfying. Detailed breakdown of the 4 laws. 1. Make it obvious. Habits are triggered by cues in your environment. By making these cues more visible, you increase the likelihood of acting on them. Example: if you want to drink more water, place a water bottle on your desk where you can see it. 2. Make it attractive. Habits are driven by cravings, so associating them with something enjoyable makes them more likely to stick. Example: pair an activity you enjoy, like watching your favorite show, with a habit you want to build, like exercising on a treadmill. 3. Make it easy. Habits that are simple to execute are more likely to become consistent. Reduce complexity and friction to ensure the habit is actionable. Example: prep your gym clothes the night before to eliminate excuses for not working out. 4. Make it satisfying. Immediate rewards reinforce habits. If a habit feels good, you're more likely to repeat it. Example: track your progress by checking off days on a calendar after completing a habit, creating a sense of accomplishment. Applications to breaking bad habits. Make it invisible. Remove cues for bad habits. Example: hide junk food to avoid eating it. Make it unattractive. Reframe the habit in a negative light. Example: focus on the harmful effects of smoking to reduce its appeal. Make it difficult. Increase friction for bad habits. Example: Delete social media apps to make them harder to access. Make it unsatisfying. Add immediate consequences for bad habits. Example: have an accountability partner who calls you out for skipping workouts. Psychological basis. Clear's framework is grounded in behavioral psychology. Cue and craving are tied to the brain's reward system, which seeks pleasure and avoids pain. Response depends on ease and motivation. Reward solidifies habits through reinforcement and dopamine release. Key examples. Clear provides relatable examples to illustrate the habit loop. A morning routine might begin with the cue of waking up, the craving for energy, the response of brewing coffee, and the reward of feeling alert. A bad habit, like checking your phone excessively, follows the same loop. The cue of boredom, the craving for stimulation, the response of scrolling, and the reward of temporary distraction. Practical advice. Habit stacking. Attach a new habit to an existing one. Example: after brushing your teeth, meditate for 1 minute. Redesign your environment. Environment plays a powerful role in shaping behavior. Make cues for good habits visible and cues for bad habits invisible. Example: keep healthy snacks in plain sight and junk food out of reach. Start small. Focus on habits that are so easy they're impossible to fail. Example: start with just 2 minutes of exercise if building a fitness habit feels overwhelming. Critiques and considerations. While the 4 laws provide a practical and intuitive framework, potential challenges include sustaining long-term rewards. Immediate gratification may not always align with long-term goals, requiring additional motivation or discipline. Complexity of cravings. Some habits, especially bad ones, are deeply ingrained and tied to emotional or psychological needs, making them harder to address with simple strategies. Key takeaways. Understand the habit loop. All habits follow the cue craving response reward sequence. Changing habits starts with recognizing this pattern. Apply the 4 laws. Use the 4 laws of behavior change to make good habits easier and bad habits harder. Start small and build momentum. Small, consistent changes can lead to significant transformations. Chapter 3 provides a practical and science-backed framework for building and breaking habits. By understanding the mechanics of the habit loop and applying the 4 laws of behavior change, readers gain actionable strategies to design habits that align with their goals and identity. This chapter emphasizes that small, intentional adjustments can lead to profound, lasting change. Chapter 4. The Man Who Didn't Look Right. In Chapter 4, James Clear explores the idea of recognizing patterns and cues, emphasizing how much of our behavior is influenced by unconscious observation and instinct. The chapter tells the story of a nurse who saved a man's life because she noticed subtle signs that didn't look right. This anecdote highlights the power of awareness and intuition in decision-making and habit formation. Key themes and insights. The power of cues. Habits are triggered by cues in the environment, often detected unconsciously. These cues act as the starting point of the habit loop, cue craving response reward. In the nurse's case, her years of experience allowed her to recognize subtle indicators that others might have missed. The importance of awareness. To change habits, you must first become aware of the cues that trigger them. Many bad habits persist because we fail to notice the triggers that precede them. Clear introduces the idea that awareness is the first step toward making intentional changes. Creating a habit scorecard. To become more conscious of your habits, Clear suggests a practice called the habit scorecard. This involves writing down your daily habits and labeling them as positive, negative, or neutral. Example: waking up and checking your phone might be a neutral or negative habit, depending on how it affects your day. Applications. Improving observation skills. Like the nurse in the story, you can train yourself to become more aware of patterns in your behavior by practicing mindfulness and reflection. Identifying triggers. Understanding what triggers your habits allows you to consciously design better ones and eliminate harmful ones. Chapter 5. The Best Way to Start a New Habit. In Chapter 5, Clear introduces one of the most practical and actionable strategies for building new habits: implementation intentions and habit stacking. These techniques help you create clear, specific plans for when and where to perform a habit, significantly increasing the likelihood of success. Key themes and insights. Implementation intentions. The concept is simple. People who make specific plans about when and where they will perform a habit are more likely to follow through. Clear suggests using the formula: I will behavior at time, in location. Example: I will meditate for 2 minutes at 7 a.m. in my living room. The role of environment. Your environment plays a significant role in shaping your habits. Clear emphasizes the importance of creating an environment that naturally encourages good habits. Habit stacking. This method involves linking a new habit to an existing one, leveraging the cue from the old habit to trigger the new one. Formula: after current habit, I will a new habit. Example: after brushing my teeth, I will floss one tooth. Start small. Clear reiterates the importance of starting with habits that are so easy they're hard to fail. These small wins build momentum and reinforce your desired identity. Applications. Combining strategies. Use habit stacking alongside implementation intentions for a powerful habit-forming strategy. For example, habit stacking: after I pour my morning coffee, I will journal for 1 minute. Implementation intention: I will journal at 7:30 a.m. at the kitchen table. Redesign your environment. Arrange your environment to provide cues for the habits you want to adopt. For example, placing a book on your pillow as a cue to read before bed. Awareness is the first step to change. Use tools like the habit scorecard to identify your habits and their triggers. Much of our behavior is shaped by cues we don't consciously notice. Learning to spot and modify these cues is crucial. Specificity and clarity increase the likelihood of forming habits. Use implementation intentions to define when, where, and how you'll act. Habit stacking is a simple yet powerful method to anchor new habits to existing ones. Start small. Consistency is more important than intensity when building new habits. Together, Chapters 4 and 5 provide a blueprint for understanding and designing habits. Chapter 4 emphasizes the importance of awareness and observation, while Chapter 5 offers practical strategies for implementing new habits. By recognizing cues and intentionally structuring your environment and routines, you can build habits that align with your goals and identity. Chapter 6. Motivation is overrated. Environment often matters more. In Chapter 6 of Atomic Habits, James Clear argues that while motivation is often seen as the key to habit formation, the environment plays a far more significant role. He emphasizes that structuring your surroundings to support your goals is more effective than relying solely on willpower or motivation. Core themes and insights. The power of environment. Our environment is a silent force that shapes our behavior. Clear explains that people often act in response to the cues and triggers in their surroundings. Example: if unhealthy snacks are visible on your counter, you're more likely to eat them, even if you're motivated to eat healthfully. Environment as a catalyst for change. Small environmental changes can lead to big behavioral shifts. By optimizing your space, you make good habits easier and bad habits harder. Example: keep a book on your nightstand to encourage bedtime reading instead of scrolling on your phone. The role of visibility. Habits are often initiated by visual cues. Making cues for good habits visible and cues for bad habits invisible can significantly influence behavior. Example: place workout clothes where you can see them to prompt exercise. Context-specific habits. Habits are tied to specific environments. Changing your environment can disrupt bad habits or reinforce good ones. Example: a coffee shop might signal work mode, while a gym might trigger workout mode. Applications. Design your environment. Create spaces that naturally encourage desired behaviors and discourage unwanted ones. Example: keep healthy snacks in the front of your fridge and junk food out of sight. Associate habits with specific locations. Assign specific habits to distinct spaces to create strong mental associations. Example: use a designated desk for work to reinforce productivity. Key takeaway: motivation is fleeting, but environment is constant. By designing an environment that aligns with your goals, you can make it easier to sustain good habits and avoid bad ones. Chapter 7. The Secret to Self-Control. In Chapter 7, James Clear discusses the limitations of self-control in habit formation. He argues that relying solely on willpower to resist temptation is a flawed approach. Instead, the key to self-control is to reduce exposure to triggers and create an environment where temptations are minimized. Core themes and insights. Willpower is not sustainable. While willpower can help in the short term, it is not a reliable long-term strategy for resisting bad habits. Clear emphasizes that even the most disciplined individuals will struggle if their environment is filled with temptations. Eliminating temptation. The best way to resist temptation is to avoid it entirely by removing triggers from your environment. Example: if you're trying to quit smoking, avoid keeping cigarettes in your house or spending time with people who smoke. Self-control through environment design. Self-control becomes unnecessary when you design your environment to minimize temptations. Example: To limit distractions while working, keep your phone in another room. Good habits as defaults. Make good habits the default by structuring your environment to naturally lead to them. Example: use smaller plates to control portion sizes, encouraging healthier eating habits without conscious effort. Applications: out of sight, out of mind. Remove triggers for bad habits to make them harder to perform. Example: delete social media apps from your phone if you're trying to reduce screen time. Make good choices easy. Place tools for good habits within easy reach. Example: keep a water bottle on your desk to encourage hydration. Key takeaway: the secret to self-control is not fighting temptation, but removing it. By shaping your environment to support good habits and eliminate bad ones, you make self-control almost effortless. Chapters 6 and 7 together highlight the profound impact of environment on behavior. While motivation and willpower can provide short-term boosts, long-term success comes from designing an environment that supports your goals and reduces exposure to temptations. By optimizing your surroundings, you create conditions that make good habits inevitable and bad habits difficult, empowering you to achieve lasting change. Chapter 8: How to Make a Habit Irresistible. In Chapter 8 of Atomic Habits, James Clear explores how to make habits more appealing by leveraging the science of cravings and desires. He introduces the concept of temptation bundling and the role of dopamine in habit formation, explaining how we can use these insights to make good habits more irresistible. Core themes and insights. 1. The role of cravings in habits. Clear emphasizes that cravings drive habits, not the habits themselves. We don't crave the action. We crave the feeling it gives us. Example: people don't crave brushing their teeth. They crave the fresh, clean feeling afterward. 2. The science of dopamine. Dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical, plays a key role in habit formation. It's released not just when we experience a reward, but also in anticipation of it. Habits that are more appealing or promise greater rewards are more likely to stick. 3. Temptation bundling. Clear introduces the concept of temptation bundling, pairing a habit you want to build with an activity you already enjoy. Example: only watch Netflix while working out on a stationary bike. 4. The role of anticipation. Anticipation amplifies the desire to act. Making habits more exciting or tying them to enjoyable outcomes increases the likelihood of performing them. Example: preparing a special playlist you only listen to while working out creates anticipation for the workout. Strategies to make habits irresistible. Bundle temptations with good habits. Pair activities you enjoy with habits you want to develop. Formula: after current habit, I will habit I need, then I will habit I want. Example: after cleaning my desk, I will write my to-do list, then I will make a cup of coffee. Add immediate rewards. Incorporate small rewards to make habits feel more satisfying. Example: treat yourself to a healthy snack after completing a workout. Visualize the benefits. Focus on the positive outcomes of the habit, both short-term and long-term. Example: picture yourself feeling energized and accomplished after exercising. Make habits pleasurable. Create a sensory or emotional connection to the habit to make it enjoyable. Example: use a luxurious scented lotion as part of your bedtime routine to make it more appealing. Practical applications. Workplace habits. If you dread emails, pair email time with your favorite coffee or playlist to make the task more enjoyable. Fitness goals. Watch your favorite show only when you're on the treadmill or bike. Studying or learning. Use special pens, notebooks, or other tools that make studying feel like a treat. Key takeaways. Cravings drive habits. Habits are fueled by the desire for the reward they promise. By making the reward appealing, you can strengthen the habit. Use dopamine to your advantage. Anticipation creates a dopamine spike that makes habits more compelling. Build anticipation into your habits. Temptation bundling works. Pair enjoyable activities with habits you want to build to make them more attractive. Chapter 8 teaches that to make habits stick, you need to focus on their appeal. By leveraging the science of cravings, dopamine, and temptation bundling, you can transform mundane tasks into irresistible habits. This approach not only enhances motivation but also ensures that the habits you build feel enjoyable and rewarding, increasing the likelihood of long-term success. Chapter 9. The role of family and friends in shaping your habits. In Chapter 9 of Atomic Habits, James Clear examines the powerful influence of social groups on our behavior. He explains how our family, friends, and broader social circles shape our habits through cultural norms, peer pressure, and shared identity. Core themes and insights. 1. The influence of social norms. Humans are inherently social beings who tend to conform to the behaviors and expectations of their group. Clear explains that this conformity drives much of our habit formation. 3 social groups influence habits: the close, family and friends who shape our most immediate habits; the many, the broader community and cultural norms we observe and adopt; the powerful, individuals or groups we admire or aspire to emulate. 2. The need for belonging. People tend to adopt habits that help them fit in with their group. Behaviors that align with group norms feel more rewarding because they provide social acceptance and validation. Example: joining a fitness group encourages regular exercise because it aligns with the group's shared identity. 3. How to leverage social influence. Surround yourself with people whose habits align with the ones you want to develop. Example: spending time with friends who read regularly can encourage you to adopt a reading habit. 4. Cultural identity and habits. Habits are often tied to cultural identity. If a habit aligns with the shared identity of a group you belong to, you are more likely to sustain it. Example: a vegetarian is more likely to maintain the habit of avoiding meat when surrounded by others who share the same value. Applications: join communities. Seek out groups or clubs that align with the habits you want to build, e.g., a running club or book group. Change your environment. If your current social circle reinforces bad habits, spend more time with people who encourage better behaviors. Key takeaway: social relationships are one of the most powerful forces in shaping habits. By aligning yourself with groups that reflect your desired habits, you can make it easier to adopt and sustain those behaviors. Chapter 10: How to find and fix the causes of your bad habits. In Chapter 10, James Clear explores the root causes of bad habits. He explains that every bad habit is driven by a need or desire and offers strategies to identify and eliminate these underlying triggers. Core themes and insights. 1. Understanding the root cause. Bad habits are not random. They serve a purpose by addressing a specific craving or need, often providing short-term relief or pleasure. Example: snacking on junk food might address boredom or stress rather than hunger. 2. The habit loop and bad habits. The habit loop, cue craving response reward, applies to bad habits as well. To break a bad habit, you must disrupt this loop. Remove the cue. Address the craving in a healthier way. Replace the response with a better habit. Make the reward less appealing. 3. Awareness is key. The first step in breaking a bad habit is to recognize it. Many bad habits operate on autopilot because we are not consciously aware of the triggers or rewards driving them. 4. The inversion of the 4 laws. To eliminate bad habits, invert the 4 laws of behavior change. Make it invisible. Remove cues for the bad habit. Make it unattractive. Reframe the habit in a negative light. Make it difficult. Add friction to the habit. Make it unsatisfying. Create negative consequences or remove rewards. Strategies to fix bad habits. Identify triggers. Keep a habit journal to track when and where bad habits occur. Example: notice that you snack when you're bored at 3 p.m. Replace the habit. Find a healthier alternative that satisfies the same craving. Example: replace snacking with drinking tea or going for a walk. Change your environment. Eliminate cues that prompt bad habits. Example: remove junk food from your home to avoid temptation. Introduce accountability. Share your goals with someone who can help you stay on track or implement immediate consequences for bad behavior. Example: use a habit contract with a friend to discourage overspending. Key takeaway: bad habits persist because they fulfill an underlying need or craving. By understanding the habit loop and disrupting its components, you can eliminate bad habits and replace them with healthier alternatives. Chapters 9 and 10 highlight the importance of social influence and self-awareness in shaping behavior. Chapter 9 emphasizes the role of family and friends in encouraging or discouraging habits, while Chapter 10 provides a practical framework for identifying and eliminating bad habits. Together, they offer a comprehensive approach to designing your habits by leveraging social support and addressing root causes. Chapter 11. Walk slowly, but never backward. In Chapter 11 of Atomic Habits, James Clear emphasizes the importance of consistency over perfection in habit formation. The chapter introduces the idea that progress, no matter how slow, is better than stagnation or regression. Clear encourages readers to focus on building momentum through small, consistent actions. Core themes and insights. 1. The value of consistency. Progress is not about how fast you move, but about maintaining forward momentum. Even small actions, when repeated consistently, compound over time. Clear advises adopting the mindset of showing up every day, even if it's just for a minimal effort. 2. The power of the never miss twice rule. Everyone will miss a habit occasionally due to life's unpredictability. The key is not to let one missed day turn into a pattern of missed days. The never miss twice rule encourages you to bounce back immediately after a lapse, ensuring the habit remains intact. 3. Focusing on process over perfection. Instead of aiming for perfection, focus on continual improvement, no matter how small. Example: if you can't complete a full workout, doing just one push-up keeps the habit alive and reinforces your commitment. 4. Compounding effects of tiny gains. Clear revisits the concept of the 1% rule. Improving by just 1% each day leads to significant progress over time. Small gains add up, while small setbacks compound negatively. Applications: set the bar low. Create habits that are so easy they're impossible to fail, ensuring that you can maintain momentum even on challenging days. Example: commit to writing one sentence a day if you're working on building a writing habit. Recover quickly. If you miss a habit, recommit the next day to avoid losing momentum. Key takeaway: consistency matters more than intensity. Progress may be slow, but as long as you're moving forward, you're building habits that will yield significant results over time. Chapter 12: The Law of Least Effort. In Chapter 12, Clear explores how habits are influenced by the principle of energy conservation. He argues that humans naturally gravitate toward actions that require the least effort. By reducing friction and making habits easier, you can increase the likelihood of sticking to them. Core themes and insights. 1. The path of least resistance. People instinctively choose the easiest option. Clear suggests leveraging this tendency by designing your environment and routines to reduce effort for good habits and increase effort for bad ones. Example: to encourage healthy eating, prepare vegetables in advance so they're easy to grab, while keeping junk food out of reach. 2. Automation and default choices. Automating good habits or setting up default choices removes decision-making friction and simplifies adherence. Example: automate savings by setting up a direct deposit into a savings account. 3. Redesigning your environment. The environment can either add friction to or remove friction from habits. By strategically designing your surroundings, you make desired behaviors more effortless. Example: lay out your workout clothes the night before to eliminate the extra step of finding them in the morning. Strategies to leverage the law of least effort. Reduce friction for good habits. Make good habits as easy as possible to start. Example: keep your guitar on a stand in the living room if you want to practice more. Increase friction for bad habits. Add barriers to undesirable behaviors. Example: remove batteries from the TV remote or store it in another room to make watching TV less convenient. Optimize your tools. Use tools or systems that make the desired behavior simpler. Example: use pre-portioned meal kits to make healthy cooking easier. Key takeaway: humans naturally follow the path of least resistance. By reducing effort for good habits and increasing effort for bad ones, you can design a life where your desired behaviors happen almost automatically. Chapters 11 and 12 highlight the importance of maintaining momentum and minimizing barriers to action. Chapter 11 emphasizes consistency and recovery from setbacks, while Chapter 12 provides practical strategies for leveraging the law of least effort to make good habits easier and bad habits harder. Together, these chapters offer actionable advice for sustaining habits and creating an environment that supports long-term success. Chapter 13: How to Stop Procrastinating by Using the 2-Minute Rule. In Chapter 13 of Atomic Habits, James Clear introduces the 2-Minute Rule, a simple yet powerful strategy to overcome procrastination and build habits. The idea is to make habits so easy to start that they seem almost effortless, helping you bypass the initial resistance that often leads to procrastination. Core themes and insights. 1. The problem of procrastination. Many people procrastinate because they feel overwhelmed by the scale of their goals or the complexity of the tasks they need to complete. Clear explains that starting a task is often the hardest part, so breaking it down into something manageable is key. 2. The 2-minute rule. The rule states, when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Example: instead of committing to reading an entire book, start by reading 1 page. Instead of planning a 30-minute run, begin by putting on your running shoes. 3. The power of starting. The primary goal of the 2-minute rule is to build momentum. Once you've started, you're more likely to continue. Clear emphasizes that habits are formed by frequency, not duration. So focusing on starting is more effective than worrying about how long you perform the habit. 4. Downscaling habits. Even the most complex habits can be broken down into a 2-minute version. Write a novel becomes write one sentence. Work out for an hour becomes put on workout clothes. Meditate daily becomes sit quietly for 2 minutes. 5. Gateway habits. The 2-minute rule helps you build gateway habits, small actions that naturally lead to more complex behaviors. Example, starting with 2 minutes of stretching might evolve into a full workout over time. Why the 2-minute rule works. Reduces resistance. Making the habit extremely easy removes the psychological barriers that cause procrastination. Creates momentum. Once you start, it's easier to continue. For instance, if you put on your running shoes, you're more likely to go for a run. Reinforces identity. Even small actions reinforce the identity you're trying to build, e.g., I'm the type of person who exercises, or I'm a writer. Practical applications. Start small. Identify habits you want to build and create a 2-minute version. Example, if you want to journal, commit to writing 1 sentence each day. Focus on showing up. Prioritize consistency over perfection. The goal is to build the habit of starting, not achieving perfection from day one. Use the rule to overcome procrastination. When faced with a task you're avoiding, commit to working on it for just 2 minutes. Often, you'll find yourself continuing beyond the initial 2 minutes. Key takeaways. The 2-minute rule simplifies habit formation by focusing on starting rather than finishing. Small, consistent actions build momentum and reinforce your desired identity. Even large, intimidating goals can be achieved by scaling them down into manageable, 2-minute steps. The 2-minute rule is a practical and effective strategy for overcoming procrastination and building habits. By lowering the bar for entry, it helps you take the first step toward your goals. Once you start, the momentum carries you forward, transforming small beginnings into lasting change. This approach reinforces the idea that progress is built through consistent, manageable actions, one step at a time. Chapter 14. How to make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. In Chapter 14 of Atomic Habits, James Clear explores how to use commitment devices and environmental design to make good habits automatic and bad habits nearly impossible to sustain. The chapter emphasizes how pre-commitment and intentional structure can remove decision-making barriers and eliminate temptations. Core themes and insights. 1. The role of commitment devices. A commitment device is a choice made in the present to control your future behavior, locking you into a course of action that aligns with your goals. Example, automatically transferring a portion of your paycheck into savings ensures you save money without needing to make the decision every month. These devices work by reducing the number of choices you need to make, allowing habits to unfold effortlessly. 2. Making good habits inevitable. Clear explains that the easiest way to ensure good habits is to design systems where following through is the default choice. Examples, automate bill payments to ensure financial consistency. Use a meal delivery service to eliminate the effort of grocery shopping and cooking healthy meals. 3. Making bad habits impossible. By increasing friction for bad habits, you make them harder to perform. Examples, remove unhealthy snacks from your home to make eating junk food inconvenient. Delete social media apps from your phone to reduce mindless scrolling. 4. Environmental design. The physical and social environment significantly influences behavior. By altering your surroundings, you can create an environment where good habits thrive and bad habits die. Examples, place workout equipment in a visible area to encourage exercise. Rearrange your workspace to reduce distractions, like placing your phone in another room. Practical strategies. Use commitment devices, implement systems that lock in good behaviors and limit bad ones. Example, install software that blocks distracting websites during work hours. Automate positive behaviors. Set up processes that make good habits automatic and effortless. Example, schedule regular donations to a charity if you want to cultivate generosity. Redesign your environment. Make cues for good habits visible and easy to access. Remove triggers for bad habits to reduce temptation. Example, store your credit card in a drawer to avoid impulse purchases. Increase friction for bad habits. Add steps or barriers to make bad habits inconvenient. Example, unplug your TV and store the remote in a different room to discourage binge watching. Key takeaways. Systems over willpower. Success doesn't rely on motivation or discipline, but on systems and structures that make good choices easier and bad choices harder. Commitment devices are powerful. By pre-committing to positive behaviors, You reduce decision fatigue and increase consistency. Environment is key. A well-designed environment minimizes the need for self-control by making good habits inevitable and bad habits impractical. Chapter 14 underscores the importance of designing systems and environments that make good habits effortless and bad habits inconvenient. By leveraging commitment devices, automation, and intentional environmental changes, you can create conditions where success becomes inevitable and failure becomes improbable. This approach shifts the focus from relying on willpower to building a life where positive habits are the path of least resistance. Chapter 15. The Cardinal Rule of Behavior Change. In Chapter 15 of Atomic Habits, James Clear introduces the cardinal rule of behavior change. Behaviors that are immediately rewarded are repeated. Behaviors that are immediately punished are avoided. This chapter explores how the timing of rewards and punishments influences habit formation, emphasizing the importance of immediate gratification for reinforcing good habits and discouraging bad ones. Core themes and insights. 1. The role of rewards in habit formation. Humans are wired to prioritize immediate rewards over long-term benefits. Clear explains that this evolutionary trait often makes it harder to form habits with delayed benefits, e.g., exercising for long-term health, and easier to adopt habits with immediate gratification, e.g., eating junk food. The key to behavior change is to find ways to make good habits immediately satisfying and bad habits immediately unsatisfying. 2. Immediate versus delayed gratification. Good habits often have delayed rewards, e.g., weight loss after months of dieting, while bad habits typically offer immediate gratification, e.g., the pleasure of eating sweets. To make good habits stick, attach immediate rewards to them, even if the main benefit is delayed. Example: after completing a workout, reward yourself with a smoothie or an episode of your favorite show. 3. The power of immediate rewards. Immediate rewards reinforce the behavior, signaling to your brain that the habit is worth repeating. Example: celebrating small wins, like crossing off tasks on a to-do list, provides immediate gratification and encourages consistency. 4. Making bad habits unsatisfying. To break bad habits, introduce immediate consequences that make the habit less enjoyable. Example: use an accountability partner who enforces a consequence, like a monetary penalty, if you skip a workout. Practical strategies. Add immediate gratification to good habits. Pair good habits with small rewards to make them more satisfying. Example: after studying for 30 minutes, take a 5-minute break to enjoy a snack or a quick walk. Create a habit tracker. Visual progress, like checking off days on a calendar, provides an immediate sense of accomplishment. Example: mark an X on a calendar for every day you stick to a habit like journaling or exercising. Introduce immediate consequences for bad habits. Increase the immediate cost of bad habits to make them less appealing. Example: if you procrastinate by scrolling social media, set up a blocking app that temporarily restricts access. Reframe delayed gratification. Mentally connect the future rewards of good habits to your present actions. Example: visualize how regular exercise will make you feel healthier and more energetic. Key takeaways. Timing matters. Immediate rewards and punishments are the most effective tools for shaping behavior. Good habits need instant satisfaction. To build good habits, make them immediately gratifying, even if their main benefits are delayed. Bad habits need immediate costs. To break bad habits, attach immediate consequences to discourage them. The cardinal rule of behavior change highlights the critical role of timing in habit formation. By focusing on immediate rewards for good habits and immediate punishments for bad ones, you align your natural instincts with your long-term goals. This approach transforms abstract aspirations into tangible, satisfying daily actions, making behavior change more achievable and sustainable. Core themes and insights. Example: marking an X on a calendar for each day you stick to a habit reinforces your commitment and provides a sense of accomplishment. 2. The power of visual cues. A habit tracker acts as a visual cue that reminds you to stay on track. The desire to maintain a streak becomes a motivating factor. Example: seeing a long streak of completed habits on a calendar makes you less likely to break the chain. 3. Don't break the chain. Clear emphasizes the importance of consistency. The don't break the chain method, popularized by comedian Jerry Seinfeld, encourages you to complete your habit daily to avoid interrupting your streak. 4. The role of identity in habit streaks. Sticking with a habit every day reinforces your identity. Each small action serves as evidence of the person you are becoming. Example: writing every day strengthens your identity as a writer. 5. The 2-minute rule for consistency. On difficult days, scale down your habit to its simplest form, e.g., 1 push-up instead of a full workout, to maintain the streak and reinforce the habit. Practical strategies. Use a habit tracker. Record each instance of completing a habit to visualize your progress. Tools. Use a physical calendar, a journal, or a digital app to track your habits. Focus on the streak, not perfection. Missing 1 day is acceptable. Missing 2 days creates a new habit of inconsistency. The key is to recover quickly from a lapse. Clear's rule: never miss twice. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge your efforts and reward yourself for maintaining your habits, even in small ways. Example: treat yourself to a cup of coffee after checking off your habit for the day. Make adjustments for life's challenges. Be flexible when circumstances arise, but ensure you still take small actions to maintain momentum. Example: if you're traveling, commit to a shorter version of your workout routine. Benefits of habit tracking. Accountability. Tracking your habits makes you more aware of your behavior and motivates you to stay consistent. Satisfaction. Seeing your progress builds a sense of pride and accomplishment. Focus on process. Tracking shifts your attention to the process rather than the outcome, reinforcing the habit itself. Key takeaways. Consistency is king. Daily repetition is crucial for building and maintaining habits. Focus on showing up, even in a small way. Visual progress motivates. Habit tracking provides a clear, visual representation of your efforts, which reinforces your commitment. Recovery matters. Missing 1 day is not a failure. What matters is how quickly you return to the habit. Chapter 16 provides actionable advice for sticking with habits every day by leveraging habit tracking, visual cues, and the power of streaks. By focusing on consistency and celebrating small wins, you can build habits that become an integral part of your daily life. This approach ensures that your habits are not just occasional actions, but enduring components of your identity and routine. Chapter 17. How an accountability partner can change everything. In Chapter 17 of Atomic Habits, James Clear discusses the transformative power of accountability in habit formation. He explains how involving others in your goals can provide motivation, enhance commitment, and make sticking to habits easier. Accountability partners create a layer of external pressure and support that strengthens your resolve to maintain good habits or avoid bad ones. Core themes and insights. 1. The power of social expectations. People are more likely to act in line with their commitments when someone else is watching. Social expectations and the desire to maintain a positive image can motivate adherence to habits. Example: if you promise a friend that you'll go to the gym, you're less likely to skip because you don't want to disappoint them. 2. Accountability amplifies commitment. Knowing that someone will check in on your progress adds a layer of responsibility. This external accountability makes it harder to justify breaking a habit or missing a goal. Example: sharing weight loss goals with a friend who regularly checks on your progress creates a sense of obligation to stay on track. 3. The role of public commitments. Publicly declaring your intentions increases the stakes and makes you more likely to follow through. The fear of social embarrassment or losing face acts as a motivator. Example: announcing your goal to run a marathon on social media creates pressure to train and complete the race. 4. The motivation of consequences. Clear highlights how accountability partners can help enforce consequences for failing to meet goals. These consequences can be financial, social, or emotional. Example: a bet with a friend that you'll owe them $50 if you skip a workout introduces a tangible cost for failing to act. Practical strategies. Find an accountability partner. Choose someone who will consistently check in with you and hold you accountable for your actions. Ideal candidates: friends, family members, coaches, or colleagues who share similar goals or have a vested interest in your success. Set clear expectations. Define the specific habit or goal you're committing to and establish how your partner will monitor your progress. Example: agree to report daily on whether you completed your habit, such as sending a message confirming you exercised. Introduce consequences. Create a system where failing to meet your habit results in a penalty, such as donating to a cause you dislike or paying your partner a predetermined amount. Leverage technology. Use apps or online communities that provide accountability features, such as habit trackers or group challenges. Example: apps like StickK or HabitShare allow you to invite others to track your progress. Make accountability reciprocal. Pair up with someone working on their own goals so that you can hold each other accountable. This mutual support fosters trust and shared motivation. Examples of accountability in action. Fitness goals. Join a workout group or hire a personal trainer who expects you to show up and tracks your progress. Work goals. Schedule regular check-ins with a mentor or colleague to discuss progress on a project. Financial goals. Share your savings plan with a partner who reviews your budget and spending. Key takeaways. Social pressure drives commitment. Accountability partners leverage the power of social expectations to keep you focused on your goals. Public commitments increase stakes. Declaring your intentions to others adds a layer of responsibility that makes failure less appealing. Consequences motivate action. The threat of penalties for failing to meet your habits adds urgency and motivation. Chapter 17 emphasizes that accountability is a powerful tool for sustaining habits and achieving goals. By involving others in your journey, whether through an accountability partner, public commitments, or consequences, you create external motivation that complements your internal drive. This chapter highlights how relationships and social dynamics can be harnessed to transform habits and ensure long-term success. Chapter 18. The truth about talent, when genes matter and when they don't. In Chapter 18 of Atomic Habits, James Clear explores the relationship between talent, genetics, and habit formation. He discusses how natural abilities influence our capacity for success in specific areas and emphasizes the importance of aligning our habits with our innate strengths to maximize potential. Core themes and insights. 1. The role of genetics. Genetics influence our abilities and predispositions, which can make certain habits or pursuits easier or harder for individuals. Example: a person with a natural inclination for endurance might find long-distance running easier than someone who excels in explosive, short bursts of energy. 2. Aligning habits with strengths. Success is more likely when habits align with your natural talents and interests. Instead of forcing yourself into activities that feel unnatural, focus on areas where you have an advantage. Clear uses the concept of genetic predispositions to argue that people excel when they work in harmony with their strengths. 3. The intersection of talent and effort. While talent sets the foundation, effort and consistent practice are what turn potential into achievement. Example: Usain Bolt had a genetic advantage in sprinting, but his rigorous training and dedication were essential to becoming a world-class athlete. 4. When genes don't matter. While genes can determine your starting point, they don't dictate your potential for improvement. Consistent habits can help anyone make significant progress, even if they lack initial talent. Example: a naturally untalented writer can improve significantly with daily writing practice and feedback. The Goldilocks zone of effort. Clear introduces the concept of the Goldilocks rule, which states that people experience the most motivation when working on tasks that are just challenging enough, not too easy and not too hard. By aligning your habits with your natural abilities, you're more likely to stay in this zone, maintaining engagement and avoiding burnout. Practical applications. Discover your strengths. Experiment with different activities to identify areas where you excel or feel naturally drawn to. Pay attention to tasks that feel enjoyable or effortless compared to others. Align goals with strengths. Choose habits and goals that leverage your natural abilities. Example: if you're a natural communicator, focus on habits like networking, public speaking, or teaching. Work in your sweet spot. Aim for activities that balance challenge and skill, keeping you in the Goldilocks zone. Improve where it counts. While focusing on strengths is ideal, you can also use habits to improve in areas where talent is less relevant, e.g., organization, punctuality. Examples of talent and habits. A person with a natural ear for music can excel faster in learning instruments with daily practice. Someone with a talent for pattern recognition might thrive in data analysis or strategy-related habits. Even without talent, consistent practice can lead to mastery in areas like writing, fitness, or cooking. Key takeaways. Play to your strengths. Focus on habits that align with your natural abilities to increase the likelihood of success and enjoyment. Effort still matters. Talent might give you an advantage, but consistent effort is what sustains progress and leads to mastery. Genes don't define you. Even if you lack talent in a certain area, you can still make significant improvements through deliberate practice. Chapter 18 emphasizes that while talent and genetics play a role in determining where we might excel, they are not the sole determinants of success. Aligning habits with strengths and maintaining consistent effort ensures that you can unlock your full potential. By focusing on what you naturally do well and staying committed to practice, you can achieve remarkable results regardless of your starting point. Chapter 19. The Goldilocks Rule. How to stay motivated in life and work. In Chapter 19 of Atomic Habits, James Clear introduces the Goldilocks Rule, which explains how to maintain motivation and sustain long-term habits. The rule is based on the idea that humans are most motivated when working on tasks that are at the optimal level of difficulty, neither too easy nor too hard. Clear delves into the psychological and emotional factors that help maintain engagement and avoid burnout or boredom. Core themes and insights. 1. The Goldilocks Rule. The Goldilocks Rule states that people experience the highest level of motivation when they work on tasks that are just on the edge of their current abilities. Tasks that are too easy lead to boredom, while tasks that are too hard lead to frustration. Striking the right balance keeps you in a state of flow. 2. The role of challenge. Challenges need to provide a sense of progress while requiring enough effort to keep you engaged. Example: a tennis player feels most engaged when playing against an opponent of slightly higher skill level, pushing them to improve without overwhelming them. 3. The state of flow. Flow is a mental state where you are fully immersed in an activity, experiencing focus, enjoyment, and satisfaction. Conditions for flow: clear goals and immediate feedback. A balance between the challenge of the task and your skill level. 4. How motivation waxes and wanes. Motivation naturally fluctuates. Even when you find tasks engaging, there will be times when motivation dips. To counteract this, Clear emphasizes building habits that help you show up consistently regardless of how motivated you feel. Practical strategies to stay motivated. Work in the Goldilocks zone. Identify tasks that are slightly outside your comfort zone but achievable with effort. Example: if you're learning a language, practice sentences that challenge your vocabulary and grammar without being incomprehensible. Set incremental goals. Break down large goals into smaller, manageable tasks that provide a sense of progress. Example: if you're writing a book, focus on completing one paragraph or page each day. Use immediate feedback. Find ways to measure progress and get feedback to maintain engagement. Example: use a fitness tracker to monitor your running times and distances. Rely on consistency, not motivation. Build habits that ensure you show up regularly, even when motivation is low. Example: commit to 2 minutes of practice on off days to maintain momentum. Challenges to staying motivated. Boredom with repetition. As habits become routine, they can feel less exciting. Clear suggests periodically adjusting the difficulty level to maintain interest. Example: increase the weight you lift at the gym as your strength improves. Plateaus in progress. Hitting a plateau can sap motivation. Clear recommends focusing on small improvements to break through stagnation. Key takeaways: optimal challenge drives engagement. Tasks that are slightly challenging but within reach create the most motivation and satisfaction. Consistency over motivation. Motivation fluctuates, but consistent habits ensure you keep making progress. Adjust difficulty to avoid boredom or frustration. Regularly evaluate and tweak your habits to stay in the Goldilocks zone. The Goldilocks Rule offers a practical framework for maintaining motivation by balancing challenge and skill. By working in the just right zone of difficulty and focusing on small, consistent improvements, you can stay engaged and committed to your goals. This chapter reinforces the idea that motivation isn't something you wait for, it's something you cultivate by designing tasks and habits that challenge and inspire you. Chapter 20. The downside of creating good habits. In the final chapter of Atomic Habits, James Clear addresses an often overlooked aspect of habit formation: the potential downsides of building good habits. While habits are powerful tools for improving life, they can sometimes lead to stagnation, complacency, or a lack of mindfulness. Clear emphasizes the importance of balancing habits with awareness and adaptability to continue growing and evolving. Core themes and insights. 1. The danger of automaticity. As habits become automatic, they require less conscious thought. While this efficiency is beneficial, it can also lead to mindlessness and a failure to question whether the habit still serves its purpose. Example: you might develop a habit of running daily for fitness, but over time, fail to notice that your body needs rest or a change in routine. 2. Plateaus of improvement. Good habits can lead to initial improvement, but over time, they may create plateaus as you become comfortable with your routine. Example: an employee who builds strong work habits might stop seeking additional challenges or opportunities for growth, remaining stuck in their comfort zone. 3. Over-reliance on habits. Habits can sometimes make people rigid and resistant to change, especially when circumstances shift. Example: a diet plan that worked for years might no longer fit your nutritional needs as your body changes, yet you continue following it out of habit. 4. The identity trap. Clear warns against over-identifying with habits. While habits help shape your identity, becoming too attached to them can limit your flexibility. Example: identifying as a runner might make it difficult to switch to other forms of exercise, even if they are better suited to your goals or lifestyle. Practical strategies to avoid the downside. Review and reflect regularly. Periodically assess whether your habits align with your current goals and values. Example: set aside time every month to review your habits and make adjustments as needed. Embrace flexibility. Allow room for experimentation and adaptation in your habits to avoid becoming rigid. Example: if you typically exercise in the morning but your schedule changes, experiment with evening workouts. Challenge yourself. To avoid plateaus, gradually increase the difficulty or complexity of your habits. Example: if you've been journaling daily, try adding new prompts or exploring deeper topics to keep it engaging. Balance identity with openness. Use habits to reinforce your identity, but remain open to evolving that identity as you grow. Example: instead of saying, "I'm a runner," say, "I'm someone who prioritizes physical fitness," which allows for more flexibility. Key takeaways: habits should serve you, not define you. Habits are tools for growth, not fixed aspects of your identity. Continuously evaluate their relevance and effectiveness. Avoid complacency. Good habits can lead to plateaus if not revisited and adjusted over time. Stay curious and challenge yourself. Maintain awareness. Even automatic habits require periodic reflection to ensure they align with your goals and circumstances. Chapter 20 serves as a reminder that habits, while incredibly powerful, are not a one-size-fits-all solution. They must be balanced with self-awareness, adaptability, and a willingness to evolve. By regularly reviewing your habits and remaining open to change, you can ensure that your routines continue to serve your growth and help you avoid the pitfalls of rigidity and complacency. This final chapter underscores the idea that habits are tools for a dynamic, ever-changing life, not a fixed endpoint. Final closing thoughts. As we've explored throughout Atomic Habits, the power of small, consistent actions cannot be overstated. Habits are the building blocks of our lives, shaping our identity, our success, and ultimately, our destiny. But remember, habits are not just about routines, they're about growth. They're tools to help us become the best version of ourselves, step by step. Whether you're starting small with the 2-minute rule, leveraging the power of accountability, or fine-tuning your habits to align with your goals, the key is consistency and adaptability. Celebrate the small wins, stay flexible, and don't be afraid to reevaluate and evolve. Habits should serve your growth, not limit it. So, take what you've learned today, start small, and stay consistent. Your future self will thank you. Remember, the journey of transformation begins with a single habit. Let's keep building together. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.